Hi, hello, namaste. Welcome to Sakshi Education. This is Likita. Studying abroad has become a dream for thousands of Indian students. Today, getting into top global universities is about much more than good marks. Students need a strong academic profile and extracurricular achievements, digital SAT scores, and future ready skills. Right, with registrations for 2026 to 2027, digital SAT are open and students are now gearing up for 2027 admission cycle. To talk more about this, we have a brilliant guest today in our Sakshi studio, Miss Meenakshi, Senior Regional Director, South Asia and Central Asia. So she's here to talk about how SAT has evolved in recent years and what are the AI era skills that students needs to know, and parents needs to have a practical guidance to who are planning to go to abroad, even the students. So she's also here to talk about test optional scholarships and academics. So let's not do any further delay and welcome Miss Meenakshi to our Sakshi studio. Right, welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Likita. It is wonderful to be here.
Yeah, and it's pleasure to be you in our studio. Ma'am, SAT, when we talk about it, so SAT has evolved so much significantly in recent years. So what are the biggest changes that, students and parents needs to know when we are talking particularly about digital SAT?
Like you use the word digital, so the
Yeah.
first and foremost change is that the SAT used to be paper and pen based, but now it's all digital and it is adaptive. So this is the biggest change. And then the other change is that students can now use calculators for the SAT exam during the entire math section. So they can get their own approved calculator per the College Board website rules, or they can also use the inbuilt calculator. So we have a graphing and we also now have a Desmos calculator. So there is an inbuilt calculator and additionally they can get their own.
When we talk about score, how are the SAT score gonna help students to get into great universities even in abroad and India?
Oh, that is a great question. So the SAT scores. So first of all, we need to know that SAT is not gauged individually by or in a unique level by the universities. They take it in a holistic way. So SAT score is one of the scores that the universities look at, but yes, definitely an important score. The universities post-pandemic or during the pandemic, they started this test optional thing, but now more and more universities are going back to making the SAT as required. And they want to see the SAT scores because this is a standardized score. So, irrespective of the city, the country, the village, the rural area, or the urban area, or the country across the world, wherever you're coming from, uh, the SAT score still remains the same, though your school curricular differs. So you can come from a CBSE or an ICSE or a state board or an international school across countries, but whoever in whichever area or part of the world will get the same SAT, and that's why it's called as a standardized score. So that's how the scores help a university to determine if a student is ready to be there in their university, whether they can consider the student be a good fit for the university. Because the SAT scores, they test student in reading and writing and math, but that's on the face of it that it is only reading, writing, and math. Basically, they are testing a student for several skill sets, which are more than 40 of them. And that's where the university sees that, okay, whether the student is a good fit for my university or not. And then they get you scholarships as well.
So a lot of the students have a doubt, when should they actually start preparing for SAT, and what should be that effective preparation roadmap look like, right?
Yeah. So it depends. It differs from student to student. But the syllabus of the SAT is for an Indian student, it's like a grade 10 math score. So, math syllabus, which includes algebra, trigonometry a bit as well. So, once a student knows the basics of these things, then they can start thinking about preparing for the SAT, which is generally grade 10, I would say. So, grade 10 and above, once they have studied the math syllabus, the math content of the SAT, they can start preparing for the test. Reading and writing is something which you cannot develop in a day. You can practice it, but that is something you've been doing over the years from your kindergarten to your grade 10. But math is something that you need to know that, okay, I have completed the syllabus in my school and now I can start preparing for the SAT. I would also say at this point of time that for an Indian student, Math comes naturally. Reading and writing is something that they need to practice upon. So they have to do it.
Also, you have seen a lot of students, and what are the common mistakes that they do? What should they avoid actually when they are preparing, effectively preparing for SAT? What do you think so? Where they are going wrong, some of the students?
Yeah, so I will not say students go wrong in any way because, like I said, it's a student to student, their abilities and how much have they really practiced upon also. But one common thing, again, I will not say it is a mistake, but they should really rely upon is going and giving the SAT or the SAT right away. So they just register for it and they think that, okay, these are English is something that I've been doing from my childhood, so I can go and appear for the test, or math is something that I've just studied, I can go and appear for the test. So that is one mistake that many of the students do, thinking that let me go and try the first time and then I can improve upon the scores. But why do you want to spend money, time and energy? So practice well and then go for a test. In fact, for many of the schools and students, I would say going for the PSAT first, because that makes a base stronger. It's like a pre-SAT that you can give in grade 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that is more economical than the actual SAT, but it has the same difficulty level, it has the same format at much less cost. So you can take a PSAT and then go. So this is something that they can do.
Also, a lot of the students have this doubt also when they are not able to achieve the targeted score. So, in the first attempt, so can they reapply the test, and how many times are they reasonable giving the test again and again?
See, the SAT is administered 8 times in a year. Okay. But I will not say or never say the student should go and take the SAT 8 times, because it is, after all, $111 also that you need to keep in mind. So SATs can be given n number of times. There is no stop in that. I would say that take the SAT first. If you have got the perfect score or the score for your dream university, that's it. You do not need to give it again. But if you haven't, then prepare much better, looking at your improvement areas, looking at the concepts that went wrong. Prepare for it and then go and take the test again. But maximum 3 times, because even if you give it more than that, you will still end up having the same kind of a score. This is what our research says. But more important is, rather than thinking that I want to give the test again, the important fact here is that have you done the right kind of practice? And this is what our research, internal research, also shows that, if you've done a practice on the resources that College Board has given you, you are tend to increase the SAT score by 20, 30, 45 points. So if you've done the first full length test on the Bluebook, it's by 20 points and simultaneously by 30 or 40 points. So more important is how has your practice evolved, and then you decide whether you want to give the test again or not. But to cut your answer short, that yes, the SATs can be given a number of times.
Have you seen any such students as an example these days? What do you keep telling them to motivate them?
Yeah, so we keep having seminars or webinars or in-person sessions, I along with my team here, and we keep telling them that, there are certain resources that College Board has also developed with the digital SAT, and the first one being the Bluebook. And the Bluebook is the format or the app wherein you do the actual test. So when you download the Bluebook on the College Board website, you also have some test previews. You have a full-length practice test available. So there are about 8 to 10 full-length practice tests available. There are shorter tests, which are the test previews. So do the full-length practice test, look at your improvement areas, and then we have 3 more resources. And everything is free of cost. You don't have to spend even a money on practicing for the SAT. So you see the improvement areas, and then go to Student Question Bank, which it's called as the SQB, Student Question Bank, again on the College Board website. There are thousands of questions. So go and prepare according to the improvement area that you have. If you still have doubts, go to Khan Academy. Khan Academy is the official SAT test provider. So they have practice tests, again free of cost. Do those practice tests and come back to the Bluebook, take the second full-length test. So this is how we can tell them to prepare. There is one additional gaming kind of a thing that we have evolved in the Bluebook, which is called as the SAT question of the day. You can start with that question of the day and get ready to practice more and more questions. Besides that, we also have, in fact, Khan Academy has come up with peer-to-peer tutoring, which is also free of cost, and it's called as Schoolhouse.world. So there you can have boot camps of SAT, and there you can register for those boot camps. They're in particular schedule. Register for that and have peer-to-peer tutoring. These are students who have already given the SATs. They have received a good benchmark of the score and now are ready to teach other students.
When it comes to holistic admissions, so how can students use these SAT scores, extracurriculums, essays, academics, to build their strong, college applications? How do they use all of this?
Generally, what happens is North American institutes, specifically, which includes US and Canada, they have this holistic admission process, and now even Indian universities have started using it. So, by the way, there are more than 60 Indian universities also that accept the SAT, besides 4,000 universities across the world. They accept the SATs for the undergrad admissions. So, when you talk about holistic admission, your scores are the first thing that a university looks at, but they look at it in a comprehensive way. So they look at your school grades, the high school grades. They look at a standardized test, which is like the SAT. They also look at English language exam. So whether it's TOEFL or IELTS or Duolingo, whatever. So they look at scores in a comprehensive way. And then comes your environmental context. How have you been brought up? What are the kind of resources that were given to you? They look at that as well in terms of essays or other questions that they ask you. They look at your critical thinking, your leadership skills in case you have done some extracurricular activities. They see all those things in those activities. And then they also look at if you've done some advanced research, advanced paperwork, like an advanced placement program, if that was a part of your curriculum. And of course, which curriculum are you from? Then your family background a bit as well. And that's why they call it as a holistic admissions framework. So they do not look at only the 12th score, or they do not look at only the SAT score. They will look at both these things combined together in a comprehensive way.
When we talk about some universities, like many universities are now opting for test optional. So when should student decide to, submit these SAT scores for their strong applications?
I'm so happy you asked this question, because many students and parents have this confusion when the universities say they do not require it. But when they say they do not require it, they're not saying we will not look at it. So the SATs give you always a level up than your peers across the world who are submitting the applications for that international seat, which is with the university. So unless the university says we do not look at the scores, we are test blind, then it's not required to submit the score. But when they say, they do not use the word optional generally, they use the word we do not require it, which means, in other words, that they are test optional. But when they are test optional, they're not asking for a score because they do not want a filter to be there. But if you submit the scores, they will look at it as a part of the holistic admission scenario.
Okay.
So they
it's
might
better
have
to
certain
submit
way.
the score.
It is always better, and especially if you have got good scores, then do submit it, because they might look at it, in case there is a tie between many students having the same kind of a percentage. And in India, everybody gets more than 95% if they're aiming for abroad. So if that is such a student or a cohort of students, then your SAT scores give you that added advantage.
Students from tier 2 and tier 3, so how is SAT going to unlock the opportunities for them? Because many seek for merit scholarships and to get into top universities. So how is this SAT going to unlock their opportunities according to you?
Yeah, like I said, this is a standardized test. So irrespective of the region you come from, and especially it's very useful for the students who are coming from the cities which are underrepresented, the schools that are not very common in terms of sending students abroad. If you're coming from that particular school or a city, then especially the SAT score would help you putting your score in front of the universities. We also have something called as a search. So when a student is registering for the SAT exam, a student is taken a consent from. So a student is asked whether you would like to send your scores to the universities or not. And the student can then, there are 4 score sends that are free of cost. a student can send the scores to these universities from their side. And beyond that also, if they want to send the scores to 8, 10, whatever universities, it's at a cost. But what I'm trying to say is that if a student has said, yes, the universities can contact me, then the universities worldwide, when they look at search, that student's data comes in front of them and they can look at the data of a student and see that, okay, this is the SAT score or this is the PSAT score. That's how it helps.
Also, everyone are talking about AI everywhere. So, artificial intelligence is transforming in education and workplace as well. So, for students, apart from just concentrating on academics and curriculums, so what skills that they need to develop apart from all of this?
I'll come to it because it's part of the advanced placement that I want to talk about. But first, the SAT. One more thing important for the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, especially, is that College Board also has the SAT voucher program. So, and that's especially for the Indian students. So, if you are from a family that has an annual income which is less than 8 lakh of rupees, then you get a voucher of 90% to take the SAT. So it's not the $111 then that you have to spend. It's about just 1,000 rupees that you have to spend. So you get a 90% voucher on the SAT, and that you can claim from the Buddy for Study website. So that's important for the student. And secondly, if the student wants to study in India, see, many of the students want to go abroad. I'm saying this although I know the focus is study abroad, but there are students who aspire to go abroad, but ultimately all them cannot. So some of them stay back. How do they use the SAT score if they are good in it? So then the Indian institutions, some of them have collaborated with us in giving scholarships up to 100% tuition fee waiver as well. So if a student in India has applied to a university, there are about 8 to 12 out of the 60 that accept the SAT. And that list is available on our website. So they come under the India Global Alliance, where we want the students in India to get quality education, even if they are from a humble background. So if their score is more than 1,200, and if their family income is less than 8 lakh of rupees, and if they have submitted their applications for few of these universities, they get 100% tuition fee waiver in case they want to study in India.
That's great.
And similarly, they submit the SAT scores to foreign universities in a financial aid program. They get aid there as well. I will not say we directly use the AI, but SAT is adaptive. So one, it is a linear test form. So every student gets a unique test form in front of them. But when they do, there are 2 modules. So reading and writing and math sections are there. There are 2 sections. Both the sections have 2 modules each. Once they complete the first module, then the second module is an adaptive one, which comes up as per the response you have given in the first module. So that's why it's called as an adaptive test. So that's where SAT digitalness is important. Now coming to AI and the future skill sets that the students use. Yes, it's very important. So, cloud, AI, data sciences, cybersecurity, these are things which are there in the future. And every institute is now gearing up for it. I mean, any latest university or the new age universities would have a data science program allocated to it. Cybersecurity is one of the forthcoming jobs in India. And in India, as per the latest CII report and the others also, there is a dearth of cybersecurity people. College Board also understands this, and so does NASSCOM, so do players like IBM, Cisco, and others. So College Board has a program called as Advanced Placement. It's called as the AP curriculum, under which there are 40 subjects. It's an international curriculum. Students can register for the exam and they can do a self-study, as well as if any school is teaching it, they can study in their own school also. Why I'm saying this is because College Board has recently come up with 2 AP career kickstart courses. One is business with personal finance, but the second one is cybersecurity. The cybersecurity is important in 2 ways. So AP cybersecurity gives you college credits like any other AP program, but this also has an endorsement from employers like IBM, Cisco, worldwide. There are more than 100 employers who have endorsed AP cybersecurity program. So if your students are listening, they are still in high school, I would really encourage them to pick up AP cybersecurity. If the schools are listening, they should teach AP cybersecurity. There is no fee attached to teaching or studying. There is only a fee attached to taking the exam. But the kind of resources you will get by many students now, Gen Z is like they want to do the entrepreneurship after high school. They want to work after high school. They are
No one
very
wants to
career
work, but give
focused.
work, yeah.
Yeah, not only learn but also give work to others. So the career kickstart courses are aptly meant for that. But yeah,
Right.
like you asked, the future is about AI. The future is cybersecurity. The future is data analytics. It's also called as the Trimurti in India now. So the students should go ahead with it.
Also, when we talk about students, we should also talk about the parents. So, parents somewhere, I feel also a lot of students might connect with me. They pressure, students when they are preparing or applying for SAT. What would you like to tell them? Giving unnecessary pressure also, make a difference, when they are applying or preparing. So, what would you like to tell to the parents?
I would say that I'm a parent too. And, similarly, I know parents are anxious and everybody wants the best for their kid. Everybody wants a perfect score of 1600 on the SATs. But I would say that every student has a different caliber, a different ability. So, SAT is one exam which really captures that ability because it is not an exam where you can cram and you can go and take the test and you can get 100%. You have developed those skills over the years. The maths you can do is you can hone those skills by practicing on the resources that are there by the College Board, by Khan Academy. So parents should, assist their children by making their schedule well. And if they are on the Khan Academy, they have several things which show them that okay, this skill has been mastered now. This skill has been, you are still in the practicing mode. You're still in the introductory mode. So the parents can assist their students by looking at that and by logging into those skill sets themselves as well, and then telling them or that these are the skills that are still requiring improvement. Like in English, I see many students lacking their skills in expression of ideas, which is a domain for the SATs. So the parents can just have a checkpoint for the students, especially if the students are younger, let's say grade 10, grade 9, and they want to prepare for the SATs. They can be an anchor for them and tell them that this is to be done. But don't have a pressure because every student has a different caliber.
How do you see the college admissions over 5 years, ma'am? And what do you want to tell to Indian students to think ahead for the future?
Wow. So nobody has seen those 5 years. Even I haven't. So I can't make a prophecy as such. But yeah, college admissions are evolving. And the universities officers are having a difficult time now, especially with Indian students, because everybody is very intelligent, super intelligent kids. They are getting great marks. So whenever you want to compare yourself with others, and when you know that there are limited seats, and your application should be at the forefront, then yes, start looking ahead in your middle school itself and start looking, having that kind of a mindset that if you want to prepare for going abroad, then what are the things that you require to do? So SAT, of course, is one of them, but I would say being a wholesome child with other skill sets would also help the child. But SAT is one of them specifically.
According to you, what are the myths, common myths and misconceptions that revolves around SAT, for the even in the parents and students' perspective when they're thinking to go abroad, for Indian students especially?
The first myth, you asked me about test optionals. So the students think that beyond COVID, everybody has stopped accepting the SAT. That's the biggest myth because universities still do accept the SAT. In fact, almost 8 to 10 universities, including the Ivy Leagues, have gone back to becoming test required. MIT, Caltech, Dartmouth, Harvard, Brown University. They've all gone back and said that we now require the SAT. So that myth of test optional and myth of even if we do not take the SATs, we still can go ahead in an Ivy League is not possible. And the second myth is around the scores, that if you do not get a 1600 plus, you're nowhere near that. That is also a myth. Yes, universities do require, especially if you want to get a scholarship, 1500 plus, 1450 plus is something that they really aim at. But I would say anything above 1200, please do submit the score. In case you do not want to take the SAT again, that's fine. But do not hide your score because the score talks to you more than those numbers. And it gives the university an impression that yes, the student is skill ready. So it's not just the number that the university is looking at.
Also, I was about to ask that. So many students were only concentrating to get the targeted score. What is actually universities looking from students? What are the required qualities apart from the score?
The SAT score tells them a lot. But like I said, anything above a 1250 or a 1300 is good for an Indian university. For a foreign university, 1400 plus is always good. Scholarships, 1500 plus. Nobody hates a perfect score. Everybody loves a student with a perfect score. But then, even if you have a perfect score and you do not have those additional qualities displayed in your essays or your school scores or the rest of the things, then also it's not necessary that a university might give you an admission. So it's beyond that perfect score also that you need to work on your skill set.
For a students, when they get a right SAT score, how should they choose a right university? What do you think, a student should focus on when they are choosing the right university?
Focusing on a right university after taking the SAT score is generally not the process that a student takes it. Every student has a dream university, and that's based on many things. That's based on the program that they want to go in for, that's based on the city that they want to go in and study. And especially for an Indian student, it's not just a university, it's also many other emotional factors. So somebody has a relative somewhere, or other things as well. So first of all, your dream university, the program that you want to do, based on the score that you receive, if you feel that it's not adequate for that particular university, you either go and take the SAT test again, or you can change the university. But always trying for your dream university is something that I would always encourage. Yeah, go for it. Do your best and go for it. Go and submit the application to your dream university.
One mistake every SAT student should avoid.
Just going straight away and taking the SAT and being overconfident.
One habit that guarantees better SAT preparations.
SAT question of the day and practice papers.
SAT or school grades, which matters more?
I would say both matter in a holistic admissions framework. Yes.
One book or resource every SAT aspirants should use.
Bluebook.
Your one message to students dreaming of studying abroad.
Give it your best shot and never feel bad even if you get a decline to all of those universities, because a score or a university will not mark what the kind of a student you are. So give it your best shot, but always try. Keep trying.
Right. One final line or a message for students and parents from Miss Meenakshi. What would you like to tell them on preparing SAT or in a academic profile, building their strong academic profile? What would you like to tell them?
I would say that working hard is the best thing that you can do, and prepare for the SAT through Bluebook. Go in for your practice test. But even if you don't get a desired score, don't feel bad about it. Take it again, or change your track and take something else, but always have high spirits in you. That's the best thing I can say.
Amazing, Miss Meenakshi. Thank you so much for your valuable insights today. I'm sure students and parents as well as got a lot of insights.
I
and
wish them luck.
information.
I wish them
Yeah.
luck. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Right, this is with Meenakshi. Ma'am has told a lot of things and helped students also to get very good SAT score, also build their strong academic profile. So that's it for today. For more expert guidance and educational updates and curricular updates, please stay tuned to Sakshi Education. This is Likita signing off. Stay tuned.